Hey, what do you say, Meisters? Good evening to all. Good to see you all. How's everybody doing this evening? As you can see, I'm doing my IU t-shirt because it's time to start representing IU in these playoffs coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Thought I'd get on here, like I said I would last night, and we'll do another few pages of this probable cause affidavit in regards to Rebecca Park. And the only one update that I have as of right now is that as we were reading through that probable cause, I had noticed that Rebecca's sister, Kimberly, was mentioned a lot through what we read so far. And so I started thinking, what's going on here? And I knew that she had been arrested and she'd already been bonded out along with her boyfriend. So I called the court today. And apparently she's been charged and he's not. And I got the probable cause on what she was charged for. And I will finish up with the parents' probable cause and then give it a day or two because I need to get with Miss Barbara in regards to her son's case because she emailed me and I want to discuss her case with her. So I'm going to take a day or two away from Rebecca Clark's case and talk with Miss Barbara about that. And then once I get done with Miss Barbara, I am going to set up a live and we'll go over her sister Kimberly's probable cause affidavit. She's been charged with obstruction of justice, and there's some reasonings why that we had discussed, or actually read in part of this probable cause last night on some things. There's some statements she said during her interviews with law enforcement and to some friends that got her hemmed up. But otherwise, let's check out the chat and see who's all here and give a shout out. We've got Junior Johnson from up there in Michigan. How's it going, Junior? And why I was speaking of Junior, not necessarily directed at Junior, but as far as Michigan, if I got anybody in this chat or who's even watching or listening, if anybody knows any friends, family members, close or acquaintances with the Parks family, please reach out to me. I would like to talk to you. So I would like to get a little bit more insight on what this family is about. Now back to your local news. We got Doodlebug. Good to see you. Miss Barbara. Good to see you. Freedom Fighter. Good to see you. Susie. To Miss Debs. Thrift like you mean it, girl. Good to see you. Make sure everybody goes head over to her channel and hit that thumbs up and subscribe and share. Rescue All the Dogs, Miss Karen Hicks. Good to see you. Excuse me. Gail Hurd. Good to see you. Another reason why is the Colts aren't doing so well, and I can't believe they just re-signed Phillip Rivers, come out of retirement after 5 years. My goodness, what the hell are they thinking? And Dallas, I don't know what to say about Dallas, Gail. Making sure I got everybody. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get at it. Start reading some of this. We're on page 6. I know that much. And I believe we were getting ready to start with the part discussing an autopsy. Let me get down to it. All right. Can you guys see that all right? Oh, I forgot to share. I don't know what happened here. Hold on. Yeah, you guys can see that. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm able to leave my window open. All right. An autopsy was conducted at Western Michigan University by Dr. Christine James and was attended by Deputy Alex Howard. There were 6 sharp force wounds. I think that's supposed to be in Park's back. 2 to the upper right arm, 1 to the left trapezius area, 2 to the neck, and at least 2 to the face. The right side of the face also has a laceration and an irregular wound to the cheek of unknown etiology. The wound to the neck are described as superficial and do not penetrate muscle or harm any vascular. Most of the wounds to the torso are contained in soft tissue. 1 to the back enters the left pleural space but misses the lung. 1 to the right side of the back enters the right pleural space and does penetrate the right upper lung lobe and caused a large pneumothorax. All major vessels are intact. Rebecca's abdomen had incised wounds. The placenta was hanging from the open abdominal wound. Just for a minute, a little bit of trigger warning, just to let everybody know. Sorry about that. Now I got to get back to where I was. Sorry. Oops. All right, where was I? Was attached umbilical cord and the feces was absent. The fetus was absent, excuse me. The abdomen incision transcended the colon and the small bowel. Dr. James reported that Rebecca's stomach contained copious amounts of blue-green chalky residue. There was also a thin film of subdural blood over the left cervical hemisphere with focal subdural on the right peritoneal, or what is that? Parietal area. However, there was no subscapular or sagittal hemorrhage. All these medical terms, I don't have a clue. Nor skull fracture is noted. The OA joint had marked laxity, but a posterior neck dissection showed no soft tissue hemorrhage. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025, a second search warrant was obtained for Bradley and Courtney Bartholomew's residence at 30 South 21 and a half Road. Search warrant to seize the 2007 Ford Escape 4-door SUV, red in color, with a VIN number as shown on the screen, and a temporary Michigan registration plate with number on the screen, registered to Courtney Bartholomew, and the 1992 Ford F-150 pickup truck, white in color with a VIN number as up on the screen, with a Michigan registration as shown on the screen, and have them towed to the Wexford County Sheriff's Office to be processed by the Michigan State Police laboratory technicians were also obtained. The search warrants were served, and Bradley and Courtney were both taken into custody and transported to the Wexford County Sheriff's Office. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025, at 1541, Detective Lieutenant Pisker and Detective Sergeant Hackman conducted a recorded interview with Bradley Bartholomew. All right, let's get to the chat real quick. Make sure somebody's already not throwing a fit. I just still like to know what they did with the baby to determine. I understand they're saying the baby was either stillborn or it died shortly after birth, whatever. But I want to know what they did with the baby, because she was basically at term. I mean, a month away. So that's one thing that I want to know. What do you guys think? Waiting to see if anybody. Don Smart's in the house. Good to see you, Don. I mean, I've got mixed feelings, Don. I mean, science tells you one thing, but your mind tells you another. On the evidence that we're told here in this probable cause, you would think at nearly at term the baby was probably alive. That's just that's just what I would think, because there's many of babies that are born 8 months, 8.5 months. That's what I'm saying, Karen. Exactly. And that's when it came into my mind. I mean, it's very well known. Good to see you, Pam Hurst. Michigan is well known for their drug trafficking, and sex trafficking. Well known up there. A lot of I would say, mafia type groups. Stuff like that. Exactly, Deb. That's pretty far along in that pregnancy. I don't understand what's going on here. Either they found the baby or they're just not telling us. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Gail Hurd, prayers coming your way. Oh, exactly, Doodlebug. I mean, we watched the initial hearing on the charges, and they both had a rap sheet a mile long. I mean, that's question number one that we've got. We need to know where the baby's at. All right. Page 7. Bradley was put on notice that Rebecca's death is a homicide and that this is a homicide investigation, that there can't be any more lies. Bradley was read his Miranda rights from a Wexford County Miranda warning card. He confirmed his understanding of his rights, explained to him, and he agreed to speak with the detectives at that time. Bradley reported his knowledge that Courtney went to get Rebecca. They came to the house to go get Tide Pods. And they were supposed to go get ice cream. Bradley said that he was at the house with Bentley. He admitted that he lied during his first interview about being at the residence because of his sex offender registry status. Great. Just great. Bradley is told that COR violations are small in comparison to homicide. And he says that at the time, he didn't know this was a homicide. He reported that Courtney had backed out of the driveway in the Ford Escape, and then she came back. She said that at that time, he had no idea. I mean, I got to blow this up a little bit. Let's see. I got to get back to where I was at. That means I got to go back down. He reported told him that Rick Fowler, which is Rebecca's boyfriend, were in the white Ford and they had a disagreement and there was blood on the dash. Courtney asked Bradley to clean it up, which he reported that he went out and wiped it down. He said that he didn't see any blood on the floor or on the seats, just blood splattered on the dash. He described that later there was white paint on the seats, and Courtney asked him to remove the seat covers, which he confirmed he did. He said he was unsure what she did with them, if they were thrown in the burn barrel or in the trash. Next, he said that Courtney was talking to him about how she and Rich did something horrible, but she wouldn't tell him. He claimed that once the story of Rebecca came about of her being missing, he began to put two and two together. Bradley reported that Courtney threatened that if he said anything, she'd make his life hell. Oh boy. Wax family. Bradley identified that Courtney had tried to stab him with scissors in the past and charged with an assault, but the case was dismissed. Oh, one of those. Oh boy. Bradley clarified that Courtney had told him about the something bad happening 5 to 6 days after Rebecca was missing, but he claimed he wasn't sure what bad thing had been done was. Okay. When asked about the story about the baby in the ICU at DeVos, Bradley identified that she was supposedly adopting a baby, but he didn't see how she could due to his status as an SOR. Oh boy. I'm starting to put two and two together. Bradley said that Courtney was alone when she got into the white Ford and left north on South 21 and a half road, and that she returned approximately 15 minutes later. He stated that he had sent a text to Courtney to see if she needed him to come outside for anything, and she responded in the affirmative. It was now that he said that Courtney reported getting into a fight with Rich. Bradley said he never observed Rich on this day and that he did not observe any injuries to Courtney. Returning to the something bad topic, Bradley was asked to continue that topic. He identified that Courtney is all over TikTok and that Kimberly was over to use Escape to deliver newspapers. The Ford Escape. He confirmed that Kimberly left personal items in the Escape and identified she did that all the time. When Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked about anything else that Bradley wanted known before drilling down questions had begun, he said that Courtney was constantly talking to Rich. He agreed that she was also constantly talking to Kimberly. He reported he cannot hear the conversations as they are all taking place by text. He only knows it's them because he sees their names on her phone. Well, if you could see the names on her phone, what the hell? Okay. Bradley is then confronted with records from carriers, specifically T-Mobile and Verizon. He was asked about Courtney's phone that she had previously. She was no longer going to have service. Bradley identified that she had service restored, but was aware that she had conducted a factory reset on the phone. He was notified that a factory reset reset does not prevent access to records that are maintained by the carrier. All right, chat time. All right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm starting to put two and two together. She wanted her picture out of the picture. She wanted her daughter out of the picture. She killed her and was going to take the baby and stow it away, or somebody's got that baby for her at a later time, and thinking she was going to get away with this murder. I mean, does that sound about right? Let me give you guys' opinion on what I just said. Wait to see if anybody comment. Agree, Barb? I got Don agrees also. I mean, I still think there's something funny going on because, like I said, before I even got these probable causes, I was reading other stuff on this case, and the sister Kimberly was married to a cousin or something, and the mother is married to some. I have to go back and look at it. I was just like, man, this is some strange shit. I want to know whose baby that was that she was carrying. That's what I want to know. Because I'm wanting to know if it's Bradley's baby, and that's what I want to know. Boy, there's a lot to come out in this case. I'm telling you. Excuse me. All right, next page. All right. Okay. Bradley said he had Courtney's phone on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. It pointed out that there are phone calls between both the phone he uses and the one that Courtney uses while Rebecca is at the house. He passes these as simple calls checking on her coming and going. He reports that he hasn't driven the truck since he parked it and that it only had enough gas to go get gas to the gas station. See, what they're doing here now, guys, is when we read the first few pages earlier yesterday, they were basically just interviewing, talking to them, and basically what they do is get their whereabouts, their movements, what they did throughout the daytime with the information that they have, especially when it comes to they find in Rebecca's phone. This is how they start trying to weasel out people as suspects, but their stories weren't adding up. Detective Lieutenant Pisker confronted Bradley's statement about the blood in the truck, confirming his knowledge that the truck had been seized. Identifying if there is any blood of Rebecca's found in the truck, there will be a big problem. Bradley is confronted if he thought Courtney had been lying to him about what went on, and he says he does. He suggests he can't see Courtney and Rich being together like that, as they haven't talked in over 2 years. Bradley confirmed that there was no $18,000 checks. Remember earlier, if you guys were in talking about giving money, he did not know why Courtney sent images of the checks. She was claiming that she was saving money for the girls so they can get back on their feet, and money for Rebecca because she was having a baby. She wanted to make sure she had money to fall back on, things in that nature. This is what this $18,000 referring to. He did say that he spoke with Kimberly on Saturday, November, I don't know what happened to that number, but it looks like a 14 maybe, 2025, after their dinner that night had ended. He said he was asking about the 2 tracks behind the house. He denied that Kimberly told him that she needed to go to Rebecca to get Rebecca out of the picture. He identified that Kimberly had said this to Rich Fisher, who he identified as Courtney's cousin. See, this is weird shit. Rich is Courtney's cousin, and he's the boyfriend of Courtney's daughter. See, that's weird shit going on here. Weird shit. Detective Sergeant Hatman confronted that he is not with what Rich Fisher told him. Is not what Fisher told him when he interviewed him personally. Bradley reported that Kimberly is jealous of Rebecca and that he is aware that Kimberly has had a relationship with Rich in the past. I mean, that is it. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is getting sickening. Bradley reported being upset with Kimberly was on the internet, saying that he and Courtney were responsible, making a statement that he does not understand how anyone could do that to a pregnant woman. He answered that he believes that Courtney and Rich would be capable of doing something such as this. When asked for what purpose, he gave definite possibilities. Bradley agreed that he believes that Courtney is capable of slicing open her own flesh and blood and take a baby out. Whoa. He agreed that Courtney is obsessed with wanting another baby in her care and custody. He also agreed that it was a good possibility she could attack Rebecca and cut a baby out of her. Wow. Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked if he remembered the Sunday that Rebecca was in the hospital. Courtney saying or texting, "Don't you dare have this baby in the hospital." And Bradley remembers somebody saying it, but not who was saying it. Bradley confirmed going to Fowler's house on Saturday to take the gifts to Rebecca that Courtney forgot to give her at the house earlier that day. While discussing being upset that Kimberly had accused him of being involved, Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked why he hadn't called him, and Bradley said that Courtney had threatened him that she didn't want him involved. His explanation was that she doesn't want to get incriminated or himself incriminated. Bradley began to say that he thinks that Courtney has more to do with it than what she wants to claim. She said all the evidence is pointing to her, or he said that all the evidence is pointing to her. He suggests that he believes all the evidence would be in the white Ford. The blood he observed inside the truck is discussed and described. Up earlier when they were talking about cleaning, there was blood splattered on the dashboard. Bradley said that he removed the original seat coverings about a week and a half after Rebecca went missing because it had got white paint on it. When asked what he thought happened, Bradley responded he thought Courtney was jealous of Rebecca. He agrees that Courtney would like to have another child. He also thinks that Rich wants to get back into a relationship with Courtney. Oh my God. Bradley agrees that he thinks that Courtney could point the finger at him as being responsible when we interview him. When Bradley is confronted with Courtney being in possession of the cellular device with the telephone number as up on the screen, when she went to pick up Rebecca, he claims he can't say she possessed it, but it was there at the house and he had it to call her. He then confirms that Courtney did not have that phone when she went to Fowler's to pick up Rebecca. He reported she got that phone when she came back from getting the white Ford. All right. Chat time. My goodness. Well, everybody's commenting now. Yes, the placenta was still there. No, that sounds like, I said it last night, it almost sounds like incest to me. Yeah, keeping it in the family is pretty gross. Look at Doodle Book. Deb said this case sounds like a bad soap opera. It's sad but it's actually true. Well, you think about it, Doodlebug. I mean, if that's what you're saying, wow about. I mean, you got the Bob was dating her cousin at one point in time, which was Rich. And Rebecca was dating him. And apparently Kimberly was dating him at one time. I mean, Jesus. A cousin. What First cousin, second cousin. Man, this sounds like a family out of the Appalachians in West Virginia. Give my eyes a break, guys. Give me just a second. I'm waiting on y'all to comment some more so I can respond. Doodlebug says, smack my head. I don't have words. Lord have mercy. Man, I call it as I see it. I mean, going back through to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you're right, Barbara. The factory reset of her phone was suspicious. Deliverance. I wouldn't go that far with it. All right, we're on page 8 or page 9, guys. Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked Bradley what else he wanted us to know about. And he told us that Courtney had scalpels in her bedroom, bedside stand, describing them as disposable scalpels for lacing cellulitis. Bradley doesn't remember going anywhere on the morning of Tuesday, November 4, 2025, other than to Fowler's to give him Rebecca's phone. Bradley confirms that he had come to the hospital on Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, to bring Courtney her wheelchair and that he was driving the white Ford pickup truck while Courtney was there with the Ford Escape. He did not ride back to Manton with Courtney when she drove Rebecca and Richard home. Bradley began to show some emotion about the possible outcome of the investigation. Bradley is given a break at this point in the interview. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025, at 17:14, which would be 5:14 p.m., Detective Lieutenant Pisker and Detective Sergeant Voss conducted a recorded interview with Courtney Bartholomew. Oh, this is going to be juicy. Courtney was read her Miranda rights from a Wexford County Miranda warning card. She confirmed her understanding of the rights explained to her, and she agreed to speak with detectives at this time. Courtney identified that at the dinner at her house on Saturday, November 1st, 2025, it was herself, Rebecca, Kimberly, Bentley, and that Brad was hiding in the truck. Because of his registry. Detective Lieutenant Pisker notified Courtney that this is a homicide investigation and the lies must stop, and if she lies, more charges can be brought. Courtney reported that Bradley is hiding in the truck because the girls won't come in if he is around because they don't like him. She reported that the dinner ended around 19 to 19:30 hours, which would be 7:30 p.m. The next thing that happened was she called Rebecca about the items she forgot to get her and that she and Bradley went to Fowler's to drop the items off. At the time, they were in the Ford Escape. On Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, she was supposed to pick up Rebecca and waited around until about 16:30, which would be 6:30 p.m., and Rebecca called to say she was on her way to the hospital. She described the events at the hospital as she had previously. Bradley brought Courtney her wheelchair to the hospital. Bradley was driving a white Ford F-150, and she explained how he stopped at the Meyer gas station to get gas for the truck while she drove Rebecca and Richard home. Courtney wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, and she was told that he could not. She reported talking to Rebecca Sunday night. She reported talking to Rebecca Sunday night about getting shakes on Monday. She said that Rebecca asked her about the 2000, and she said that Rich was upset about something. Courtney confirmed the trip to Fowler's house on Saturday after the dinner to drop the items off for Rebecca. Hey, it's enough. Calm down. When Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked Courtney why she wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, she suggested that he need to back up, saying she needs immunity. Detective Lieutenant Pisker notified Courtney that the prosecutor is the person who can give immunity. Courtney suggests we get the prosecutor here, and Detective Lieutenant Pisker says she will want to know what she has. Courtney said she will give us the knife, where the knife is, and where the baby is. That she will give us it all give it all to us. When Detective Lieutenant Pisker confronts Courtney that she has guilty knowledge, she responded she had been threatened. Her child has been threatened. Her home has been threatened, and she is done. Courtney renews her request for immunity and then asks for witness protection. Detective Sergeant Voss explains we can't offer her immunity. Oh, shit. So they must have they must know where the baby is then. Peyton's place. What are you guys talking about in here? Immunity for what? She's sitting there lying. I have a feeling, like I said before, this is my opinion at the moment until things change or some other documents come out to change my mind. But it sounds like she wanted another baby of her own, and she didn't like her daughter. She wanted her daughter out of the picture. And so her and her husband killed her, lured her out there, or whatever happened, and killed her and cut the baby out. And they done something with the baby. Well, yeah, of course you did, Doodlebug. Sung like a canary. If that didn't sound like a confession to me, I don't know what is. All right. Make sure nobody else is commenting. But Bradley's denying every last bit of it. All right, page 10. When Detective Lieutenant Pisker asked Courtney if the baby is alive, she shakes her head in the negative. Okay. Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney about her prior statement that Bradley hides in the truck. He asked her where he hides, and she identified in the cab. She describes it as a single cab truck, and he lays on the seat. Courtney reported that Bradley had put $15 worth of gas in the truck when he was at the Meijer on Sunday night. Courtney asked if Bradley confessed, and Detective Sergeant Voss reported he told us a lot of stuff. Excuse me. Courtney confirmed that Bradley is using the phone with the number 550, and her phone is the 429 number. She confirms that she had the 429 phone on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and that the Monday that Rebecca disappeared. She said her phone was taken on Monday night, and she was told to go back in the house. Courtney said her phone was taken about 20-30 hours, which would be 8:30 p.m. She renewed her request to contact the prosecutor. Boy, she's trying. Detective Sergeant Voss again told her we need to know what she knows to take it to the prosecutor. When she suggests an example that she will even tell us where the baby is, she interrupts and says, in the garage in a blue cooler. When asked where, she reported in the GFL, Courtney says. GFL. Okay. He said he put him in a black bag. The cooler's gone. The cooler is in Brad's work truck, or the cooler is Brad's work cooler. Adding, he put him inside the cooler and drove him up and down the road looking for a GFL. That wasn't mine. What the hell is a GFL? Does anybody know what a GFL is? When Detective Sergeant Voss asked why, Courtney reported that it was related to Bradley going to jail last year when Fowler turned him in. She explained that it is all retaliation. She identified the night when they were home after their last interviews. She confronted him about his examination and his failure. Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney which vehicle he used to get rid of the body, and she identified her white truck. She is then asked how he got her in a position to kill her. She explained how he pulled into the driveway. She had notified him she was on their road. She explained that she got to the house and talked to Rebecca for a few minutes, and Bradley walked up and pulled her out and said, I want to talk to you. Courtney described that the white truck was sitting out by the road and explained that she didn't think anything of it. Bradley was supposed to be her stepdad. Courtney wanted to know where they were going and that Brad told her to take her ass in the house and don't worry about it. She said that she went into the house because she didn't think he would hurt her. Now she's putting it all off on Brad, it sounds like. Bradley is reported to have returned to the house at about 22:30 hours, which would be 10:30 p.m., and told her that he had taken Rebecca home. Courtney confronted him that he had not, and he told her he had and that she would call her in the morning. Courtney asked him for her phone, which she reported he told her was out in the shed, and he went out to get it. She said when he came back in the house, he said, yeah, she didn't go home. Instead, telling Courtney that he took her to a house, but when she asked him to take her there, he just told her that Rebecca said to him that she didn't want anything to do with her, Courtney. Courtney reported calling Rich to tell him to call her back ASAP, and that while Brad was watching her, she told Rich that, dude, your old lady left with some guy, or Bradley would backhand her. So okay. Courtney confirmed for Detective Lieutenant Pisker that the story about the black car was made up and never happened. Asking her to continue, she reported Kimberly sending her coordinates to Rebecca's phone and asking Bradley why her daughter's phone would be across the road, and his response was, I don't fucking know. She asked Bradley to take her to the phone, and she took her right to it. She said that the phone was exactly where the coordinates is. She said it was not out around, it was out in the open, and it appeared that someone had just set it down. took the phone directly to Rich's, but before their arrival, she said that Bradley told her, I'm telling you right fucking now, do not say a fucking word. Kimberly got the phone from Rich, and Courtney reported that Kimberly had called her and said that she was taking the phone to the cops. She said Kimberly called her at 2100 hours, which would be 9 p.m. on Tuesday, 9 p.m. on Tuesday night, to tell her this. When asked to continue, Courtney identified that in her second to last drawer in her bedstand that she had razor knives that she used to nick open her cellulite so they will drain. She reported that once that one was gone, which she said she knew because counted them due to teenage boys living in the house. All right. We're getting almost to an hour. Eyes are getting there. Yeah, she told on herself. She's trying to put it off on him, and they were both in on it. That's how I feel about it. Okay, got you. Thank you, Connie. GFL. Maybe a residential trash company. It sounds like they lived out in the like somewhat on the outskirts of town, and they just had to put their trash out on the main road, and the trash truck would drive by and grab it. No, you ought to heard her in court. She kept telling the judge, I need to be home. I got a child to take care of. Immunity, my ass. I wonder how close I am to being right about she wanted to have that baby for herself. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end it for the night. We are starting on page 11. I know exactly where we're at. I'll continue to keep covering this case. I'll be back tomorrow night. Part 3. All right, hold on. I have to wonder if the baby was stillborn or lack of oxygen at their hands. Poor baby. Good question, Doodlebug. Yeah, that's the third person that told me that, has said that to me. The hills have eyes. But I do want to thank everybody for coming out. My mods, especially Deb, thank you much. Miss Rescue, I know you were here in the chat earlier. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. But I will be back tomorrow night. Same time, same bat channel. You know what time it is, guys. Peace out. One love. Good night. Love you guys.